Hi, Floss Tube. Thank you. Um, whew, that was incredibly fun. Floss Tube number 1. Um, so this makes this Floss Tube number 2. I cannot thank everybody enough. Those who watched, those who commented, those who subscribed, those who shared. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. The words in the comments blew me away. I read every one. I tried hard to reply if I could this time. I'm sure life isn't going to allow for that each and every Floss Tube, but I really wanted you to know this time that it meant a lot that you would stop by and share a comment and lift me up with your encouraging words. So it hasn't been a full week, but I thought it would be really appropriate to pop on before the weekend gets crazy while the house is quiet. And we, Philip and I, had our stitchy day today, which means we drove up to our local needle shop. I mentioned that last time, and maybe I should take 2 seconds that for anybody new who's watching, welcome. This is my Floss Tube. My name is Chrissy, and you can find me on Instagram at Finally a Farm Girl. And I hope you enjoy and are motivated and inspired. Okay, back to what I was saying. Eventually, I will get on maybe in a little bit more of a pattern. But okay, stitchy day, fun Friday. I mentioned my local needle shop is Brick City Cross Stitch up in Ocala, Florida. It's normally no more than a 50-minute drive there. Today was spring break and it was crazy and I didn't think twice about it, and we jumped in the car and we get breakfast. We pretty much make a day out of it, and Philip has a really good time. And I mentioned in Floss Tube video number 1 that the ladies up there, the owner Jean, and our friend Linda, who she's on Instagram at Stitchy Linda, and she's a wonderful follow. The two of them have always been really helpful. So, and they just are really, really awesome with Philip. So he gets a kick out of it as well. Philip, if you missed it, I probably won't say it every time, but Philip is my son who will be 21 in June. That blows my mind. And he has special needs, so we are like partners in crime when we go up there. Okay, I went there with one huge purpose, and that is because I have a really awesome new secret stitching that's going to start happening very soon, and I needed my linen. So I have, let me see, what do I have? I have haul today. I have some fully finished objects that are old but yet new to you guys. So I thought I would share a couple of those. And there were several comments on the Twin Peak Primitives Springfield 1817 sampler that I was showing my progress on, and they were asking for my color conversion. I absolutely have no problem giving you that, and I will share that with you here. That's probably going to be easiest for me. It's really not as many as you think. So if you are one of those that ask for that, maybe while I'm doing other things, you might want to grab yourself a pad and paper. And let's see, what else was I going to share? I do have some stitchy progress on my whips. I was going to show you a whip that I have not shown you before, and a little bit of haul. So I guess let's get going. The first thing I'll share is what I did today, and that is I picked up a couple of my Expo patterns, so that's exciting, and I can put those in my stash. The first one that I grabbed was Annie B's, and I picked up, they call this the crackle, and I will learn to have it done beforehand. But this is Stars and Stripes Forever. And I have a big goal that I would like to have a patriotic wall. I have yet to decide if I want it to be patriotic or historical, because they kind of go together, but then sometimes I think I could do a whole wall that's just red, white, and blue. So I'm excited. There's only there's only 9 colors for this. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this. Not terribly big. It's 89 wide by 125 high. So it's going to be a nice smaller one that I can fill in. And that's Annie B's. The next one is Sue Hillis, and I fell in love with this one because I have my mom's Singer Featherweight, and I specifically want to stitch this first. My mom has a beautiful thread box, and I have one of hers, but she specifically has one like that. So I am really excited to get stitching. I think that I'm tempted to try, I don't know, maybe some Krynic somewhere. I'm not sure, but I will keep it black. The Singer will be black, but I think maybe I'll try and put a little bit of specialty floss in there. I think that would be fun. The other one that I think is really cute is this one right here. So I love it. And that's Sue Hillis Designs. So those were the 2 I picked up from Expo. Then I grabbed fabric that I have never used this before, and it is 28 count Jobelin, and I make sure it's right, Water Lily. Now I'm going to tell you, this is not going to show you probably the correct color. 1, it's nighttime, but 2, I just don't think you're going to get to see that there's just a slight amount of green in this, and it is to die for. So it's 28 count because you'll find out later, but it's really, really pretty, and I'm really excited to get started on that. So that takes care of some of what I got. I can't show you some of the other stuff only because it goes with secret stitching, so I'll move on. Okay, so who doesn't love, once you start watching FlossTube, all of a sudden eBay and Etsy become your best friend. I used to go to bed at night and I played a game. My mom, and I don't know if my sister does. I have a sister who's younger. Her name is Jennifer. And I don't know if she does that. But at nighttime, I know my mom would wind down with one of the games on her phone. And I did the same until I started watching FlossTube. And that made everything change, because who doesn't want to search out old patterns or discounted patterns on eBay, as well as Etsy, the cuteness that you find, and everybody that shares their little treasures. It's a hunt, and it's fun. So this week I found, or I got in the mail, this is Designs by Pamela. Let me pull it out, and it coincides with the Patriotic Wall. This is called George and Martha Washington Silhouettes. So let's get it right here. And just a simple black work pattern, nothing fancy, but sometimes these turn out so much richer than you would think. There's not a terrible amount of detail, but I really am excited to get these on, and I thought how wonderful to just add George and Martha around the other pieces that I have or will have in the future. So that was off of eBay. And then I fell in love, and it came from 911 Stitcher. And she shared with me, or with her viewers, I would say it was over a year ago now. She shared how much she loved The Sampler Company by Brenda Keyes. And I fell in love with the detailness. Now, you went from opposite. I went from George and Martha, who's black work, and there's not a lot. It's just elegant. To the sampler company, Brenda Keys, oh boy, she can pack it all in. And I fell in love because 911 Stitcher was going through her collection. I didn't know that was actually sealed. But this week I was able to get, let me see her. Okay, I had to rip it open. But I'd rather you see the full picture. And this is, this is Heaven Doth Ask. Heaven Doth Ask. Okay, that. So it's a band sampler, that style. And it says, weak though we are, to love is no hard task. And to love for love is all that heaven doth ask. Okay, and then if you get down here and you see the detail of everything she does, it's just beautiful. And I think I've probably said that a bunch of times. It's just so much easier to be loving than it is to be angry. It's so much easier. Being angry takes work. It's exhausting. And it is so much easier to love. So I love the things that she puts out. So I thought I would share with you what I have because I immediately started collecting. So thank you to 911 Stitcher. And this is a bag my mom made. So it's nice. What I did was I started collecting all of them in this bag. So what I have is, I decided I'm going to get, I was trying to get all of them, and then I was going to get all the linen at the same time because obviously I would want a wall of them or keep them together. So the linen that I'm going to use is Sampler Gold. And that'll be used for all of them, which is a little bit different because she uses a light linen on all of hers. But I picked out 28 count Sampler Gold. So this will be what I use for all of them. And again, I don't think it's showing you there. That's more of a true match. So that's, okay. So what I have in patterns, and I won't take them all out, but this one is the Plymouth sampler. I love that so much. She's so talented. Okay. This one is called Went to Church. Her patterns, the only thing that's tricky is that they don't have the name of them on the front. The name is on the back. And they come with these beautiful inserts, a label for you to mark on the back, leaving your legacy. But look at that. The colors are magnificent. And the detail is just awesome. Okay, so that's I Went to Church. So I'm able to find several of these on eBay. I can't say that the price is a lot better. They're just accessible because Brenda Keys is in a different country. So I find it a little bit easier if I can. I've purchased a couple from the Silver Needle, and that worked out great. This one, let's see what this one is called. Providence Sampler. Okay, again, her detail to the time period is just exquisite. It's like a little sampler company review. The Huntsman Sampler. Sorry, I gotta hear my clock. The schoolhouse clock. Okay, this one is, I'll have to pull it out. Let me show you the picture. Somebody else will probably know it faster than me. Hold on one second here. The New England Sampler. Sorry about that. They're all just so good. Okay, this is one I got off eBay too. I was really not sure about it because I know down here that stitch might get to me, but I'm trying it. This one is called the Puritan Sampler. Not too big, not too terribly big on that one. Ooh, okay. I love history. This is called Over the Hill. And I might be one of those weird ones that if you ask me what else I watch besides FlossTube, I would say I will watch YouTube historical type documentaries, shows, tours of their homes. So this obviously, you know, has war that, you know, exhibits a little bit of the motifs of all of that, but I mean, I absolutely love it. And I think just one more. So I think I had the linen for about 4 of these ready to go. And this is the Red House Sampler. Okay, so I will tell you I did not have this. I wasn't even really looking for it. I just had enough, and I knew I would keep them, you know, getting them along the way. But all of a sudden, this became really quite a popular pattern. And I think Brenda from the Serial Starter, Brenda Sampler, she's got it where she's doing it, and it just became something that became more popular. I actually think even Christy at Crosshatch Quilts, I think, is doing it. Anyways, it kind of became a little bit of a hot commodity. So when I found it, I was pleased. Okay, so that takes care of Brenda Key's 911 Stitcher. Led me way down a big rabbit hole. All right, the other thing, Etsy. This one I grabbed is from the Primitive Hair. I grabbed a linen from her called the Snowfall. This is 30 count linen, and it has pre-printed fabric. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but it's got snowflakes on it. And I saw a pattern that Twin Peaks Primitives has out, and I'm not confident in the name right now, but it's a woman with a sheep, and I saw somebody on Instagram stitch it on this, and I think it was fabulous. It was gorgeous. So I just grabbed it to grab, maybe not in particular for that one only, but just to have, because I thought it was really cute and would be perfect for a winter stitch. So I grabbed some of that, and I've never stitched on Primitive Hair's linens before, so I'm anxious to give this a shot. I did buy her 10th anniversary. This was her 10-year anniversary, Primitive Hair, of her business. So I did buy that, and I can share that next time with you because she actually had a really cool special offer. And I've loved a lot of her stuff. I can't say I've stitched a lot, but I do love it all. So I did pick that up. Okay, next on, oh, here comes the dog. That's Miss Ginger. We need to behave. Okay, the other thing I got on Etsy, I have to say I have been, when I watch Christy Crosshatch Quilts and her intro, I believe it's usually in her sewing on one of her 3-tier trays, I fell in love with the Brenda Gervais, the Summer Schoolhouse series. There's lessons, and I believe there's 4. And I believe they came out in 2017, and they came out to those attending a summer school, and I finally found someone selling their whole set. So, because I've been able to find 1 or 2, and I'm sure I could have found the whole thing, but it was more exciting to find it all like this put together. And the eBay seller had it with, I mean, she had the whole kit and the little box that goes with it. So I don't know when and I don't know how, but this is something that has been on my wish list for a while, and I was able to get, when you're able to get everything like that, it's really motivating, and you're really ready to go because you've got everything you need. And I was excited that I was able to grab that and add to my stash. I'm not confident how huge they are, but I know she made smalls with them. Finished size is 5 inches wide by 3 5/8 high. So I'm gonna buy a dough bowl. Everybody has them, or tiers. I'm more of a primitive. My home decor is more primitive and farmhouse, so I'll probably grab a dough bowl and put them in there. Okay, so that pretty much covers all. And let's see, I'm gonna see if I can lift this up. I wanted to share my first and my favorite. So we covered eBay, Etsy, first, favorite, kind of cool. My first, I mentioned Twin Peak Primitives. The name of the pattern is Blessings on Pastoral Farm. It's the first one that I bought. We didn't know each other at all, and it's the first piece I told you I felt really comfortable starting to change things up to suit myself. So this is it. This is Blessings on Pastoral Farm. This was a frame that my grandma had, and I painted it. The paint is, I'm trying to think of the name. I use it everywhere in the house, and now I can't think of it. My husband would know it. But I'll find out if you want to know it. Oh, nope, not coming to me. Okay, it'll probably come as soon as I end up over with the video. Of course, that's always the way it goes. So what I did was, she had brown hair on the pattern, so I changed it. One of my Instagram followers said, you gotta make her blonde, and I did. And I think she had blue, and so I just changed it. The pig, I changed the color to match the pig that I have, pumpkin. So I just kind of played around with the colors, and I love the saying, so it stays in my dining room and it never goes away. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Super simple. So let me see if we can get it up a little closer. And the only thing I would have done different, and then as time went on I did, how I learned was I started changing out the greens. So I knew that I could find a variegated green that would start giving things some dimensions. So first piece, and then you learn. So, I mean, it's not the first piece I ever stitched, you know that, but this is my first Twin Peaks stitch. So over time now, I would definitely change some of those. I would pull out my nutmegs and, you know, any of those that you love personally. So, but I still love it, and it's actually still my favorite. I will tell you, I stitch it on 28 count Lugana just from Hobby Lobby that I coffee and tea dyed. So I love this piece. It worked out perfectly. It does have a border, but because I had the oval frame, I really had the high hopes that it would fit in there, and it did. So I did not have to stitch the border intentionally. Okay, so favorite, which I think is funny because I've stitched One Nation Under God for them, and it's massive and huge and special in every way. Every way. I just felt like it was such a huge, important message at the time. So One Nation Under God, of course, is it's something that I'll hold near and dear to my heart. But if you ask me what my favorite one ever that I stitched for them, it would be this one. This is A Patriotic Christmas Eve. Okay. I'll get it closer, and then I'll tell you why. Do you see this little mouse? Whoa, right there. I love every single detail in this. And I will say that I know my sister and I had pretty magical Christmases. The tree always had, you know, abundant blessings underneath it. And if my mom could be remembered for many things, it would certainly be Christmas. Absolutely. She was a kid at heart, and I think as we get older, yes, it becomes about our kids, and obviously there's, you know, Jesus is the reason, but the memories are so vivid because those days they're just so special. So when she captured everything in this, to me as a child, you know, you just see, because of it being patriotic and because that there's just character everywhere. To me, it's like Betsy Ross as, you know, as Mrs. Claus, her little needle, her glasses, you know, the salt box house. It just feels like home. So I don't know how else to explain it besides it's a special time of year. Your house should feel so wonderful and cozy, and I just think that that's what this exudes and you know, Twin Peak Primitives, there are some that for everybody, but this one here, I can tell you as far as I stitched it on 28 count summer khaki sage. I wanted the white to pop, and I wanted that country in the woods feel. So, you know, and the tree she did was just perfect. And so I did do French knots in there, but I just don't think there's a lot that she missed. And the little mouse on the clock, that's it. That's what seals the deal. Everybody's Christmas should have a little mouse somewhere. Okay, so that's my first, and that's my favorite. And maybe this Christmas, or you know, Christmas in July, I stitch seasons all year. Because I do a lot of model stitching, that worked out really nicely for me last year when I stitched that for them. But I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I stitch what I want to stitch when I want to stitch it. And I do stitch in hand. I think that's something that nobody asked that, but I thought it's something that people should, you know, would be interested in. I know Christy Crosshatch Quilt stitches in hand. There's a lot. And I do think that the best part of it is that it used to annoy my mom because I could stitch faster. Well, I can stitch on top. I can stitch on top of my linen, and I can make the needle work for me. That's the biggest thing. That is what makes it go that much faster, because you're staying, not always, but you are on top of your linen more than you're not. And there's no stabbing. So to me, it's just this constant, wonderful sewing method. And if I plan certain motifs right, then I can watch a movie. And to me, that is just so enjoyable. And I had not tried it. I did not start stitching in hand. I always used Q-snaps for the longest time until they got heavy in my wrist. And that's really when it started. It wasn't that I always stitched that way. It was that the Q-snaps on my wrist was getting heavy, painful, and who knows? It could have been I was a paralegal for years. It could be, but either way, the solution was one time I thought, well, what if I just tried stitching in hand? Give it a shot. And it took a minute. It took a bit to figure out, especially the big pieces. Everything is stitched in hand now. So I've learned how to roll my fabric, crumple my fabric, whatever it is, I can get it done in hand. So I'm actually excited to try like a Hands Across the Sea sampler and find out how the tension and everything works out. I can't imagine it would be any different, but maybe with some specialty stitches, we'll find out, because one day I'm gonna go for it and do one of their larger pieces. Okay, so stitchy progress. I mentioned at the very end of my last floss tube that I was also doing a stitch along with my oldest daughter Heather, and we picked the Universal Monster Sal stitch along. Now this isn't it. I need to find you a full page if you want to see it, but this is the block I worked on. So This one is being stitched on 28 count Sprite. It's called Sprite. So it's a light lavender. Let's see if I can. Okay, let me open up and show you what I got. So she's beating me because she is 3 blocks over. So this time I was able to add the bats, and I picked, this is your front door area, and it's really your last block, and you choose your ending. So because it's already over, because this was a stitch along for Witchy Stitcher last year, and because it's over, we could buy the whole thing. And we decided to go up 3 in 3 and start at the bottom. So we would get the frame of this house, and you'll see it's like a big haunted mansion. It's really quite cool. My youngest daughter, Olivia, her birthday is October 28th, and she loves Halloween. So she leaves it out all year, and this will be for her. So anyways, I picked the witch's door. So there's a little broom. I've got, there's quite a bit of outlining in this, so that's a little bit different than some of the primitive stitching, but it does make all the difference in the world. So anyways, it's just fun. It's just really fun. And it's different, so it's a little bit refreshing that, you know, you put something maybe serious like historical stitching and you just start stitching a vampire. Why not? But anyways, it's really fun, and I need to catch up. So I was able to get a second block almost done. Okay, now, let's see here. This is my current secret stitch for Twin Peak Primitive, so I'm just gonna, I can't show you a pattern, I can't show you anything else, but I can at least show you this is what I was working on this week. So here's your sneak peek. Let's see if this blue is really pretty, and so's that color. So yeah, that one is you'll find out soon. It's pretty special. It's pretty special. Okay. And I also had some stitchy progress on, I shared with you on Floss Tube number 1 that I had joined the Modern Folk Embroidery Jacobs Stitch Along for the year. So let's see if I can. There you go. And I said I'm trailing behind, but I'm doing okay. And I really wanted within the next week to finish the block for February, which is here. And this is March, and that's already out, obviously. So I know I'll probably never be completely on track. You just never know. But with model stitching, not likely. So I was able, though, to get a little bit of work done on my heart right there, and I finished all of this in here. So that's it. What I have here is to finish the heart and then to match this motif here, and I'm done with February. So I'm doing it, and I'm getting there. So probably this will be tonight. I will watch TV with hubby, and I will focus, because at this point it's the low-hanging fruit and I can get it accomplished. And then if I can just throw a few stitches into March's, I will feel good. So that's hopefully what's going to happen tonight. Okay. I think we're winding down, and I think I'm to the point where if you want to grab a pencil and a piece of paper, I would love to share with you Springfield 1817 Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives, and a few people wanted my thread conversion. So, get it out. Okay, first I will show you the piece again. Okay, it's a big one. I started it about a year ago. I need to just get back to it. But it's a whopper. Okay, but what I showed was, this. Okay, so what happens a lot is a lot of the, and I mean, maybe it's other patterns too, but for the most part, the theme seems to be with Twin Peaks is there's a light and a dark and a light and a dark. So what I have is, I'm just going to read them to you so that you can write them down easily. And you've got the light red is Baked Apple, and I believe that's Weeks Dye Works. The light blue is Tartan Plaid, Tartan, plaid. I always use grit, Weeks Dye Works grit for my beige or any whites. I like the aged look of it, so that's grit. The apple cider is a replacement for 782 DMC Topaz. That's where I stitched the crown in. Okay, the others Topaz 783 is replaced with Old Hickory. The darkest red, there's 3 reds, is Crimson. I changed their coffee brown, which would be the DMC 898. I changed that to Molasses, and that's Weeks Dye Works. Okay, I changed DMC 3011, which is a green, to Dried Time. And then I changed the other blue, the dark blue is Blue Corn. Let me make sure, 1 second here, and just, it didn't dawn on me. I knew I had the colors, but, okay, Tartan Plaid is by Classic Color Works. When they're big like this, I use the Floss Away bags. I don't have many floss rings. I don't have a lot of bling yet, so I will say I'm probably not in compliance with, I'm just not in compliance. But I'm not disorganized. Okay, and the Crimson is Weeks Dye Works, so this is your darkest. I just wanted to make sure. Blue Corn, that was the one. That's Classic Color Works. Okay, Baked Apple is Weeks. Dried Time, that was the, okay. Dried Time is the Gentle Art sampler threads. So the rest I just left with DMC. Grits is Weeks Dye Works, I said that. The Old Cider, or Apple Cider, is Simply Shaker, the Gentle Arts. That's pretty much it. Gold is by Weeks Dye Works. And what I can do is, if this isn't sufficient, I didn't, to be honest, if you look, there's your 2 reds. I can tell you that's Crimson and Baked Apple. There's your Dried Time, and then inside it, the other DMC, I still use that. And there's your 2 blues, dark and light. So that's your Blue Corn and your Tartan Plaid. And then this, when she goes through the trouble to do the detail enough, I don't touch it because I trust her with the judgment, you know, on their colors. That takes a while to put together. So that's straight DMC, except the blue, and then I believe the gold is the dye floss. So, and then you can tell this is the Molasses right there. And I stitched this on the 28 count Heartland. And there's the 2 blues on this bird. So that's one of my favorite things about their patterns is they really, when she picks her color schemes, it's really quite nice because you typically have a light and a dark and a light and a dark, whether there's 3 or 2. So it just becomes, it's really easy to then, for me, colors I've used in my house before, I repeat. Once I find something I like, I kind of stick with it. And, well, I hate to say goodbye. It's always so fun. I will admit it really does feel like you're sharing time with everybody. That's a unique thing to say. A couple of the, I would say the shout outs that I wanted to give was, I really do enjoy stitching in the barn. Valerie is, I think she's just a very humble person. So if you need places to go check out, I do like Stitching in the Barn. I'm sure you've already followed her. I like some of the pieces she's working on right now that are Lori Holt's, so I'm interested in possibly doing Lori's new primitive ones that she has out. And Emily Ann can stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and Pam and Steph. Now, Emily Ann can stitch and Pam and Steph, I kind of group them into my happy stitchers. I really get a kick out of people that are just happy. So Emily Ann, I think one time she shared that there was somebody that said you're just too happy, or you just smile too much, or you laugh too much. I think it was laugh too much. Okay, you know, but I appreciate you, Emily Ann, and I appreciate the fact that you laugh and you giggle and it's lighthearted, and she's always so happy and so thankful for, you know, any I want to think of the perfect word. That's you, anytime something special happens on her channel, she's excited to share it. Anytime she hits a subscriber level, she's just really happy to share it and give thanks for it. And I think that's important. And Pam and Steph, I love their banter. I will admit, the first episode after my mom passed, I couldn't watch it. I just couldn't watch it. But I'm back watching it, and they're a joy. When you can watch the mother-daughter ones, and I just think they're so fun. The corn husker stitchers. I'm not going to say that right, but I watch them too. They're great. But mostly Pam and Steph, it's the banter. It's the banter that goes back and forth between a mother and daughter that makes me giggle under my breath. So thank you, Pam and Steph, for every Sunday night, and for keeping us laughing. And we love you, and I love you guys. And I will talk to you later. Happy stitching. I hope I answered and gave you everything you needed. I'll see you in a few days. Bye.